Hello ladies and gentlemen, and thank you ever so much for clicking on this video. A lot of people know I'm a huge MMA fan. I love UFC, I love ONE, I loved Pride, I loved them all, I love boxing, and this really shows how bad the mass media is. We have seen mass media do a lot of really shitty things over the past couple of decades now. And obviously in the last couple of years where social media has become huge. You know, it's almost like, right, okay, we're going to go out there, we're going to pander to this side, this way, that way. Doesn't matter, this group of people is who we're going to pander to. And if we can pick on someone they don't like, well, that's even better for us. Well, the biggest thing, which is just absolutely funny as hell, CNN decided to go against Joe Rogan. And there's a reason they went against Joe Rogan. So this is what we got. Joe Rogan posted this 2 days ago. And he did have the beer bug. And this one by here, the top one, is the one that CNN put out. The one below is the original one he put to his own Instagram. Look at the colour difference in the faces. So let's have a little listen, guys, shall we?
And turns out I got COVID. So we immediately threw the kitchen sink at it. All kinds of meds. Monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, Z-Pak, prednisone, everything. And turns out I got...
So, with that, you can see, obviously, just the way what he said, this happened, and they made him look like an ashen zombie. And as he says, well, you know, fake news, yellow journalism. But then you've got people coming down the side, which this one by here, the very first comment, is 100% true. In the world of scientific publishing, a solid enterprise, image manipulation of that sort would be considered worthy of a permanent ban from publishing and major legal responsibility. And that is 100% true, because it's like CNN did that. They made him look like he was on the way gone. But he's not. He's, you know, perfectly same colour as he is there. And he's like, you know what? No, I've thrown a kitchen sink at it. This is what's going on. And going down, you got so many other people. You know, glad you're around, speaking for so many. Joe Rogan. We got Chris, doesn't surprise me. They filter everything. We got Michaela. You got Amazing. What would life be without some fake news? Wow, shake my head. I think CNN are using the new filter on Snapchat. What kind of filter is that? Exactly. They hit you with a zombie filter for the scaries. This is just the tip of the iceberg of their lies and distortions. Then you got Rafael dos Anjos. We are all sick of this crap, 100%. WTF, what if, you know, this... Exactly, is that, but I don't support him, but yeah, that's kind of funny, you know. You got lol, is this real? And it is. This is what CNN put out there. And it's absolutely crazy that they're allowed to get rid of it. You know, Sky, not get rid, but get away with it. But, like I said at the top of the video, there's a reason that CNN did this. This is coming from Essentially Sports. Wow. Joe Rogan's podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, which is now on Spotify exclusively, absolutely demolishes its competition in viewership figures. Joe Rogan's famed podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, has been a staple feature for listeners across all genres for a meaningful period. The former host of Fear Factor has garnered critical acclaim for his podcast, not just in the MMA space. However, the MMA community knows Rogan both from the podcast as well as his long tenure on the UFC's commentary bench. So, now we're going to go down in a minute. As you can see by there, Pomp is already saying out by there, he's completely disrupted the legacy media. So, recent statistics reveal that Joe Rogan's podcast is impactful in more ways than one. Analytics pulled from Spotify and Nielsen Holdings show that the Joe Rogan Experience podcast draws in 11 million viewers per show on average. Notably, the famed podcast beat out several traditional network shows, such as Tucker Carlson's show and Fox News Primetime. So, as you can see by here on all of these are the top ones. Joe Rogan, 11 million per view, per show. Then you had Tucker Carlson, 3.2 million. Then The 5, 2.9. Hannity, don't even know what that one is, 2.9. Fox News Primetime, 2.3. The In Graham Angle, 2.3. The Rachel Maddow Show, 2.2. MSNBC Primetime, 1.2. CNN Primetime, the very bottom, 0.82 viewers. This is the reason why they're after Joe Rogan. Because they're like, how can someone with a podcast do more than us? We're CNN. To me, growing up in the UK, we don't really have CNN when I was growing up. We got it now on the Sky News channels. But we used to have it, and the thing that I only remember from it is Darth Vader, James Earl Jones going, "This is CNN." That's it. That's all I remember. And in Hollywood movies, you always saw the CNN at the bottom of the screen. But obviously with this, CNN, they know that they're literally getting beaten by someone who just does a podcast, which I think is absolutely amazing. It's important to note that JRE beats out the mainstream media by a significant margin. He beats them by basically 9.2 million a time. Across the board, CNN Primetime, MSNBC Primetime, they fail to hold a candle to the impact that Joe Rogan's podcast has. And it is, the people who Joe Rogan has on his podcast is just, it's just crazy. Additionally, it seems like his landmark deal with Spotify was truly a masterstroke for all parties involved. The media platform became the exclusive home for Joe Rogan by reportedly striking a deal worth $100 million. The platform holds back catalogue episodes as well as newly released content. But yeah, there's also been a couple of people who work inside Spotify who literally, they're a bunch of little girls. They're woke and everything else. They're like, oh, we don't like Joe Rogan speaking with Alex Jones. How dare he? It's a fucking podcast, just listen to it, That's what cracks me up about it. But then it goes down, obviously, Joe Rogan looks back at 12 years of the Joe Rogan experience. Began in 2009, which is absolutely crazy. And as you can see, that's what they both were, and they're there now. Look at them in their spacesuits. But yeah, so that's what we got there. And, let's say 11 million people watch Joe Rogan on his podcast or listen to him every single day, which is just absolutely mind-blowing. But when you see that, literally, that is why they're basically saying anything they can about Joe Rogan. There was like a horse dewormer, there was all this rubbish, and it was just, it's kind of interesting because they think they can go out and they can just spread absolute nonsense about everyone and get away with it. Well, it's not going to happen anymore, because I'm pretty sure, I do believe that Kyle kid, he's suing them. I'm pretty sure Joe Rogan is going to sue him for this, for the horse dewormer and everything else. So it's going to be interesting to see. Next couple of months is going to be a bit of an eye-opener for CNN and other mainstream medias, because if they're losing out to a podcast, I can see a lot of news shows shutting down and trying to emulate that podcast or online on YouTube with these sort of things. If you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell for future updates, and I'll see each and every one of you soon.